Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced, and you are listening to a new episode of Data Nation, where I talk about data topics. About different terminology, different all sorts of cool things. And today, what I want to talk about is a topic that isn't necessarily an introductory topic when it comes to SQL. It's window functions, but window functions are super cool, and I want to talk about them as applied to Apache Iceberg metadata files, just to give you sort of like one use case, but what a window function is. First, let's just talk about like aggregation functions. So if you've done SQL, you've probably done aggregations like sum and max. And essentially what this would do is you would say something like you have a table of people and their heights, or people, and you want to get the average height of people in the table. You could do, average, or you want to get a count, you do like a count. And what it does, it doesn't return you each row of the table, it returns you um, the calculation based on a different value. So basically, if I just ran a straight average, it would just do an average on every record, but I could also pass it, I could also group it by a particular thing. So let's say group it by age. So that way it gives me the average height per age. So it'll take each, it'll group people by age and then figure out what their average height is and then give me a row for each age. Now, that's great when that's all I need. Sometimes, though, I might want data from individual records along with that sort of aggregated or uh, sort of more high level look. Okay, so probably the easiest example to look at this is, I may want to take a look at who has the highest, let's say, salary. Okay, so let's say I have a table of people and their salaries, and then also that table has like what department they work for. And what I really want to do is figure out who has the highest salary in each department. Okay, now I could run like a max, statement and say, okay, hey, give me the max group by department, but I might not be able to get like, I'll just know which is the maximum number. Then I would have to do a second query to figure out who that salary belongs to. Okay, but I'd like to just do that in one query. So what I can do is that I can do a window function. So essentially, what you would do is you would in your when you're in your select statement, you would create like a field that's like let's say you'd use the max function and you say, hey, like max salary, but then there'd be a statement like partitioned by, and basically what you're saying is that, hey, when you calculate the max, um, for each row, do it based on this kind of partitioning or grouping. So similar to the group by statement when you're doing just a normal aggregation, except it'll still return you every individual row, okay, and so forth. Okay, or you can do like a rank. Rank is actually probably better for this. Where rank, what it'll do is that it'll take some sort of operation and then say, okay, who is, based on this condition, who's first, who's second, who's third. Okay, so basically, if I say, hey, rank by salary, okay, so whoever has the highest salary is going to be number one. Whoever has the next highest salary is going to be number two or three. So that additional column that every row is going to have is going to show their rank. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then what I can do is I can take a look at that table and say who has the rank of 1 for each department. And I can then sort it by department and whatnot to make it even easier for me to see that. Okay? Or I could even run a where clause and saying, hey, show me only the people who have a rank of 1. So that way the only people who are left are the people who are the top salary earners in each of their departments. So that's essentially what a window function does. So again, the difference here between this and sort of an aggregate function, like it's just straight up max group by or sum group by, is that instead of just getting back rows representing those total calculations, you're getting back every row with this additional column that represents the result of that sort of aggregate calculation. Okay, and then so you can use that to kind of capture the information a little bit differently and do it in just one query instead of multiple queries. Now, this could be used in something like Apache Iceberg, the table format, along with just helping you being able to manage your data lake tables, also provides all these metadata tables with additional information. And one way this can be used is that maybe you've changed your schema multiple times over a period of time, and you've realized that your current schema isn't working, And honestly, you would just want to reset and go back to whatever the previous schema is. Okay, but you have like all these snapshots and you're trying to figure out, hey, which is the last snapshot of the previous schema. Okay, using the metadata tables, you could do a window function to rank the snapshots by their timestamp for each individual schema ID. So basically, rank 1 would be the timestamp, would be the record or the snapshot with the most up-to-date timestamp. And then what you can then do is then filter by rank of 1. So then you'd actually have like the latest snapshot for each schema that the table has had. So then you can be like, hey, I want to go back to this schema. Here's the latest snapshot for that schema. Let's roll back to that. Okay, so just to give you sort of an application here in Apache Iceberg. So one, window functions are cool, and they have some pretty interesting use cases. And I've recently been finding myself using them more and more. And they're just coming up more and more in a lot of my own personal queries. And two, they're useful when you're working with Apache Iceberg metadata tables, which is a topic that I enjoy, as you've seen, because I've done lots of episodes on Apache Iceberg, and I'm also writing a book on the topic. So with all that, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. My name is Alex Merced. Follow me on Twitter at amdatalakehouse. You can also follow me now on Threads at Alex Merced Coder. I'm also on Blue Sky and on Mastodon. Just look up on Mastodon. It's at Alex Merced at datafolks.masto.host for those who are on the DataFolks Mastodon instance. But otherwise, you guys can always find me on LinkedIn. I'm not hard to find. I'll see you all later. Have a great day and enjoy.